Welcome to this month's podcast, where we will be talking to the new directors of ADL
about taking the company limited.
What was the main reason you took ADL Limited?
To be honest, I always knew at some point we would need to go limited. We acquired the ADL Limited name when it became available about 10 years ago. The thing is, we'd built up such a good reputation over the years. I just didn't want anyone taking our name and the reputation associated with it. But back then, it wasn't the right time to dissolve the partnership. So the limited business sat in the background as a dormant company, just waiting for the right time. And I suppose it was toward the back end of 2024 that we realised we needed to change the business considerably in order to improve it. And having considered several factors, including bringing 2 new consultants on board, help with admin and social media, it just became obvious that the 1st of January 2026 was the right time.
How do you plan to structure the company now?
Well, ADL will now have a more formal structure with 3 directors appointed and then various consultants below to support those roles. And the 3 directors will be taking the lead in most aspects of the organisation, with various roles fed down to the consultants, with administrator roles, social media and other aspects of the business. But it will help us be more clearly defined as to who's responsible for what aspect of the business, and the reporting lines will be more clearly defined.
What do the changes mean for your customers?
In reality, our customers shouldn't notice any changes at all. The updates are purely internal within ADL and won't affect the way we deliver our services. Our clients can expect the same high standard of support and consistency they're used to.
What were the risks to the business or to you personally?
I think the hardest thing was getting a loan to cover our startup costs. It's really strange because we've been doing this for 20 plus years, but everyone we spoke to saw us as a new startup business, and they wanted a year's worth of trading history, which of course we just haven't got. All in all, it took us, I think, the best part of last year to secure the funding we needed. And as directors, we've had to put our houses as charges against that loan, which obviously comes with a risk.
What benefits do you expect it to bring to ADL?
It will spread the workload. For sure, between the 3 of us, we've been taking on a lot. But now with clearly defined roles and responsibilities, that will be spread out amongst a much larger group in order to reduce the stress on us all.
How would you describe your leadership style, and how do you think it will evolve as a director of a limited company?
People always tell me I've got a very relaxed style, although I do at the same time like to be organised and efficient. I've always taken the time to understand people's strengths and then try to use those strengths to the best that we can. In my experience, if you put the right people in the right role, it allows them to blossom with minimal supervision. And I think over the last few years we've done that internally at ADL Consultancy, and now we're really starting to see the benefits.
Well, obviously it's a very new role, so I'm not sure I've developed a style yet. I'd say I'm a team focus leader. I prefer working alongside people, and I try to create an environment where everyone feels heard and valued. But as I grow into the director role, I'd like my style to become more decisive and strategic, while still keeping that team-centred, down-to-earth way of working. I want to stay approachable and grounded, but also get more comfortable making clear calls and setting direction. For me, it's about balancing support with accountability as the company evolves.
I say my leadership style is strategic, coupled with focus and personally driven. Hopefully also very approachable by the rest of the team. But this will definitely help me and ADL as we try and push the company forward, help us to really focus on what's vital to us, what our objectives are, what our core values are. And hopefully my role as a director, being the first time that I'm a director, will naturally evolve.
What values are most important to you when running a business?
The values that matter most to me when running a business are clarity, accountability and respect. I think people work best when they know what's expected of them, when they're trusted to deliver, and when they have the independence to make decisions in their own roles. I also value transparency. Being open about decisions and challenges builds trust, and it stops issues from becoming bigger than they need to be. And finally, I think consistency is important. Whether it's how we treat people, how we communicate, or how we make decisions, I want the team to feel they're in a stable, fair environment where they can do their best work.
What personal strengths do you feel will help you in your role as a director?
Wow, these are good questions. I feel like I'm in some kind of therapy. I suppose I've always been the visionary one in the business. I'm always having these great and wonderful ideas of how we can improve and ways we can expand our services in the future. Thankfully, I've got Martin and Lucy alongside me to bring me back down to earth as to what's practical and what we can realistically afford. And I think that's why we work well together as a three, and hopefully we will do for many years to come.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm very driven personally. Probably too much. My family will probably tell you I work far too many hours, including the weekends and late into the evening. But I do see it as a way of stabilising and strengthening the business, which hopefully one day will balance back out. But along with those strengths, I think financially I'm quite alert to where we are, where we need to plan in order to keep our organisation strong and protected from any adverse events that we may face.
I think the strengths that will help me most as a director are quite simple. I try to be practical. I also try to communicate clearly. I find this creates an environment where people feel respected and listened to. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I am good at bringing people together, asking the questions that need to be asked, and making sure everyone understands the direction we're heading in. I take accountability seriously and aim to handle challenges in a calm, fair way. Consistency matters to me too. I like people to know where they stand and what they can expect. I'll admit I can talk a lot, but I hope that works in my favour. It means I'm good at keeping discussions open, putting people at ease, and making sure that nothing important gets lost along the way.
How do you see ADL growing over the next few years, and how does becoming limited affect that?
Well, there's not really any plans to take on more consultants just yet. Our focus over the next few years is to release our own ISO software, known as ADLer. It's a project we're very excited about. We've been designing it since 2021 during lockdown, and I'm pleased to say it's now in the final stages of development. And if ADLer takes off the way we hope and think it will, then that could mean the company potentially growing again. But what that growth looks like in reality, well, we'll just have to wait and see.
What does success look like for you over the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I think if we're still here in 3 to 5 years as ADL Consultancy, I'd be very happy. But all joking aside, I think the release of ADLer will be a vital point in time for us. A lot of development's gone into it, but to see it get released, to be rolled out to our clients and future clients and those that maybe don't use our services will be a massive achievement, which I'm sure the other two directors would agree with me on.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and thanks everyone for listening. We look forward to seeing you again soon.